Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to the 33rd episode of OCI's Unsung Heroes. This is Shweta, and I'll be your moderator today. This series is dedicated to celebrating and learning from optometrists who are creating real impact in India's underserved and rural communities. We welcome you all once again. I'd like to begin by introducing our first guest, Mr. Vedant Dingra. Vedant is a health tech entrepreneur and an optometrist from Shivpuri, Madhya Pradesh. He is the co founder and director of ARV Innovations, where he built Drishti Kit, a portable, tech enabled vision screening system deployed in schools, Anganwadis, and rural health camps. Before that, he led retail operations at J Opticals and was honored with the Z's U&I Award for Excellence in Customer Service in 2023. Vedant's work focuses on closing the eye care access gap through scalable, field ready solutions. Welcome, Vedant.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you so much for OCI for inviting me. It's always meaningful to reflect on the journey from everyday patient care to working on scalable solution for vision access. I feel immense pleasure knowing that being an optometrist, we have support from OCI and a lot of institution for doing a proper work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vedant. So now let's take a closer look at Vedant's work on the ground. Sakina. Okay, we'll continue with the next speaker and probably play the video at the end if that's okay. Yes. So our second guest is Dr. Jyoti Gangta. Dr. Jyoti is the first PhD holder in optometry in Himachal Pradesh, a neuro-optometrist and a vision therapist, and the founder of Vision Nest in Shimla. She established the first dedicated vision therapy center in Himachal Pradesh, offering services like neuro-optometric rehabilitation, low vision training, and specialty contact lenses. Alongside her clinical practice, she has served as an assistant professor and is actively involved in eye camps across multiple states. Thank you for joining us today, Jyoti.
Thank you so much, Shweta. And I sincerely thank the Optometry Confederation of India for the opportunity to speak on this I would say, a page that we have seen so many years back and wish to had a, participation like this sometime. So I'm very excited and thank you so much for involving us here. And as we know, this page highlights the valuable contribution of optometrists like us and also the budding optometrists that are serving as the, you can say, undeserved areas. So thank you so much, OCI. Thank you.
So I'll play both your videos at the end of the session. So if that's okay. So without further ado, let's get into the today's session. Vedant, I'll start with you. So you moved
Sure.
from retail optometry into entrepreneurship. So what skills from your private practice days you think have been most valuable in building this venture, especially in the underserved regions?
J Opticals have been serving Shivpuri since the early 1980s. And for me, it has, always been more than just a store. I grew up watching my father practice eye care with discipline and honesty, and deep respect for the patients as well. Long before before I formally stepped into the profession, I saw how people trusted him with not just their eyesight, but also with their confidence and independence. Being part of a being part of a practice that has cared for generations taught me that optometry is not just about the equipments and the equipments. It is also a responsibility. I witnessed the practice evolved over decades, adapting to new methods while staying rooted to our human connection. And that whole exposure shaped my instincts in underserved settings. So I would say I try to stay simple, I try to stay ethical, and the most importantly, I never forget that many patients, this is the first real interaction with an actual eye care practice, which they don't didn't have for a very long time.
Go ahead, Vedant.
Uh, so as we moved to, as in what should I say? As the practice evolved at J Opticals, there were a lot of challenges which I saw, like there were inaccessibility to eye care and everything. So the skill from private practice helped me to simplify things and move forward with a greater clarity and simplifying the whole vision screening thing. For me, it's not always that a technology or an advancement should be very complicated enough to do in order to work. It can be very simple, it can be very sophisticated and still work. So thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that, Vedant. Actually, it clearly shows how your hands on experience has shaped this entrepreneurial approach. So, Jyoti, going back to you, your journey is one of that which brings advanced care to the region where such services are very rare. So, what motivated you to establish this first vision therapy center in Himachal Pradesh, and how did you begin this?
Okay, thank you, Shweta, for asking the question. Basically, my motivation was a little simple, but I would say a little powerful realization. When I started my practice almost 8 years back, just a fresher from a bachelor's degree. So I was posted at a private hospital. We don't have much of specialized, I would say, multi-specialty eye hospitals in Shimla. But what right now, which one is running in Shimla is actually having all the equipments and all the specialized care. So when I joined there, the first thing that I noticed was that they used to have a very different concept for treating patients like kids, pediatric patients. So a small realization I found was what we being taught in our clinical practice, like doing a pediatric refraction with atropine or homide or cyclopentolate, when to start, when not to start, at what age. So that was actually not was a very different concept here. So at the age of 8 and 9 also, they were doing atropine refraction. So asking with them and going with an argument and all that is not the thing that I really liked. So I had to prove them with the judgment of why we actually do it at what age. Then this kind of setting something called as vision therapy was totally new concept for Himachal, and explaining them about that amblyopia or lazy eye can be actually treated at the age of 40s as well was something my opthal was not happy about. So but I would say yes, I was fortunate enough that I was working with an ophthalmologist who had a great passion about learning and also who actually understood what we are doing. So obviously my practice started with the very basic things. I did not order any vision therapy tools from, fancy equipments or Bernal, but I started with very, slight changes like giving them a heart chart because that's what I started with. Because, like in a hospital where you have to, make the administration also happy that you are doing something, you have to prove them whether you invest in this, so you will get a good result. So I started with very small investment of my own, where I started and showing the results. And fortunately, I got very good patients of the age of 20s, where that they saw that okay, this can be improved. And then the journey started when they saw the cases that there is an improvement, and with a whole scientific approach, basically then I just, then we went for the investments and we bought burner equipments, and that's how we started this whole setup of vision therapy department in the hospital. So I would say, even though I'm in the capital city of the state, but still our position of having an eye care services are not that well advanced. Not in terms of vision therapy is a very big thing for them, but normally also I would say we do not have a very profound specialization like cornea. Also, people have to rush and they have to be sent down to the big cities like PGI is nearer to us. So they've been sending down, and amblyopia though is never like sometimes it just become like undiagnosed condition for them. So yes, setting up such kind of I would say advanced specialization was difficult, but I was fortunate because I had cases, I had patients, and also I had some support from the other ophthalmologist, I would say. So yes, that motivated me, and then that's why, because I went after like after 8 years, I went outside for my academic performance, and I joined as an assistant professor. But then I had this thing in my mind that no, this thing was required there, so I came back, and then this is how I found my vision nest.
Thank you, Jyoti. That's actually powerful reminder, practice can drive change in our actual home communities. So both of you actually operate in areas with unique challenges to your own experiences, right? So Vedant, from your experience, what are the biggest hurdles you think is there to sustaining this private optometry practice in a non-metro city or a tier 2, tier 3 town? And how have you overcome this?
So, outside major cities, the challenge is not just mere demand, it is awareness and consistency also. Many people delay eye examinations and they accept poor vision as a norm, or they choose convenience over quality. Price sensitivity is also real, and the professional optometry sometimes has to compete with some informal or some unregulated alternatives. So, what has helped us sustain the practice is credibility, which we built patiently over time. Because J Optical has been served in the cities for decades, families trust not just the outcomes but the intent behind the care. We focused on doing honest clinical work, explaining problems in simple visual terms, and recommending what was genuinely needed. Follow ups were treated as responsibility, not a transaction, and outcomes were tracked rather than just forgotten. Small disciplines, maintaining a proper record, consistent reflection protocols, and clear communication reinforced professionalism in our market, which was often missing. When patients see tangible improvement year and year, and when the same family return across generations, sustainability becomes a natural consequence of trust and continuity rather than just aggressive expansion or some discount driven growth. So the main challenges were not just these. That was also that people didn't know that they need some sort of vision care because of the inaccessibility part as well. When I try to place myself, when I try to interact with patient, I don't just limit myself to what this patient need. I also try to understand how they feel and how to properly communicate the problem with them in order to get the proper treatment as well. Yes, we might have some limited resources and infrastructure, but if we do a proper honest work and clinically a proper diagnosis, we can ensure a good clinical practice there. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's actually great. It all sounds like adaptability and how you handle these local challenges are basically the key, to sustainability. So that's
Yes.
really good. So Jyoti, in short, you offer services like optometry rehabilitation many patients may not know about. How do you educate your community and you build trust for such specialized services?
Okay, so basically, I believe that education and trust go hand in hand. So my first concept is when the patient comes to me, he should be first of all comfortable with his visual issues, because here, the patient comes after visiting almost three, four hospitals or clinics. After that, they come here and feel that, okay, might be an hope of, a vision improvement. So, yes, first thing is that I spend a lot of time, first of all, with the counseling sessions. Counseling sessions, sometimes they understand with the language, okay, but sometimes they have to be given a demonstration in terms of visuals or maybe visual aids. Now, suppose if I have a patient who is amblyopic, suppose, and I have to make them understand that your vision can be improved. And they'll be like, how is it possible? Because we've been to AIMS, PGI, and so. And they told us that we cannot improve or beyond this. So it's very difficult for them to make understand, because at the end, what happens is a patient sees us as a practice, a private practice, where we should not loot them always, obviously, that in terms they feel like, this is one more pricey thing that we have to do it. So I make them understand with my own equipments. I generally what I do is, if a kid is amblyopic and they've come for the first time as vision therapy, so I tell the parent to sit and make the demonstration of the equipments in terms of like stereopsis. So I tell the parent to see that one dot stereopsis and see how you are seeing it. And if you are seeing it 100%, whether your kid is saying it or no, so they understand this thing that, okay, fine, she's saying in this way because it's scientifically that this thing will improve after a couple of sessions later. So this is one thing. And the other thing is that I'm again with little fortunate that I have a community where mouth of word is a very big thing for me. So I still have patients that I've treated them 6 years back, and they still call me and ask for their other relation, other family members that what needs to be done for them. So this is something that I have built a trust. I would say building a trust is more important and very difficult rather than building a community and then, giving them the advancement. So I feel that this is how I've, built the trust and given my services to this community.
Yes, so your approach is actually very truly inspiring, and how you like without using high tech and making small things and simpler things so that patient also is using your services, etc. So just in the same lines, going to you, Vedant. So innovation doesn't always mean high tech, right? So you've created tools like Drishtikit, optometry guide, etc. So how can small private practices integrate these simple, low-cost innovations to improve their patient care?
I personally believe, having seen the practice evolve over a very long time, I have learned that innovation doesn't always, mean buying new machines, or more often it's about improving how eye care is delivered in simple steps, such as, standardizing the examination flow, maintaining clearer and more structured patient histories, and explaining vision in a visual, easy to understand manner. These certain things can significantly enhance the patient experience. So no, even minor workflow refinement reduces confusion and waiting time, making each and every visit, more purposeful rather than just rushed. We also found that consistency in communication matters just as much as clinical accuracy. When the patient understand what to expect at every step of the examination, their confidence increase and anxiety reduces. Taking a few extra minutes to contextualize findings, set realistic expectations, and clearly outlining the next steps improve both clarity and compliance. So over time, these process-led improvements create a sense of reliability, and patients feel like they feel very capable in organized hands. Additionally, low-cost tools such as vision charts, simple checklists, and basic patient education, it can reinforce understanding without adding any financial strains. अब जैसे मैम for just fitting a spectacle, sometimes when you get a very high myopic or something, 1.74 diopter है, so we need a proper auto edger for it. अब हमारी सिटी में ऑटो एजर है ही नहीं. We had one auto edger but it has some certain constraints, so we have to मतलब 8-10 चश्मे इकट्ठे करके मेरे को फिर भोपाल में आसपास के किसी शहर में भेजने पड़ते हैं, जहां पे और सुंदर तरीके से इन सबका रिफ्लेक्शन हो सके, या फिर जितने सुंदर तरीके से वो फिटिंग हो सके, जो सेम फिटिंग हम यहाँ पे इंश्योर कर सकते हैं. जैसे छोटी छोटी चीजें हम करते रहते हैं. So now, while some low structure records also, clear examine expectations and improve continuity of care, making flow up more effective and personalized. With these details may seem, small in isolation, but together they build a practice that feel trustworthy, professionalism and empathetic, particularly for patients who may already feel very uncertain and apprehensive about eye care. They are already very back down. जैसे अभी भी हमारे यहाँ पे जब कुछ गांव के लोग आंखें जांच करवाने आते हैं, तो कुछ महिलाएं चश्मा इसलिए नहीं पहनना चाहती, वो कहती हैं यार भैया मेरे को तो बहुत शर्म आती है, मैं तो बस घर ही घर में पहनूंगी, but भले ही though they have myopia, they have to use spectacles all day. So these are the small things which I think कि छोटे छोटे चेंजेस से भी बड़ा, छोटे छोटे बूंद से अपन बड़ा सागर बन सकते हैं. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Vedant. So I think from both of your answers, we can understand that concentrate on small things rather than thinking of hi-fi immediately, so that the patient will, resonate with you and he'll probably be able to follow you better. So yeah, that is the takeaway for me, and I think will be for our viewers as well. So Jyoti, besides your clinical work, you also do teaching and research. So how do you stay updated with the latest in optometry while also practicing in a clinic?
Okay, so I feel that continuous learning should be the, I would say it's a backbone of any practice. So, like for our patient is coming to our clinic or in a hospital with a very different kind of a visual issues. So if we are not upgraded, obviously we cannot upgrade our treatment plans same ways. So I would say region should not limit this, education or learning barrier, because now we are in a good, I would say, region or in a good era where we have very much of online webinars, conferences, international conferences, journals, so many things that we can actually read, we can actually participate in, and we have a lot of exposure to the different types of approaches what they are actually doing abroad, maybe, or maybe my other state is doing that. So I have this keen interest from the starting. That's why it's like bachelor's, master's, PhD. I never had a break in between. I wanted to continue learning, and since I've done my PhD, but I'm still in this thing that I have to start with other. So I am pursuing a fellowship in American Academy of Optometry also, and I'm being a connected member of the NORA as well. So all of these makes me a little motivated that I have to provide the best to the patient, whether it's an amblyopic, whether it's a myopic patient. And obviously, I believe when you have all of these things in your clinic, the patient naturally comes to you. So, patient came to me, and I started with myopia trials on them, and they worked very well. So, I'm hoping that whatever I have new like treatments, like maybe in terms of contact lens, like scleral, I'm hoping that I'll definitely have patients, and I will definitely try those things on them as well. So that's how I am like very much of, into it. So continuous learning is how I do it. And even if I'm not into regular teaching now, but I'm still in contact with my some students, and even though they don't do it, I still do some case writings, and I'm very happy if they get published. So all of this makes my learning as, continue.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so actually, thank you for emphasizing, the importance of continuous learning, because no matter where we practice, that is what it keeps you refreshed with all the topics as well. You get into new practices also, especially with, such, moving on topics like neurooptometry, etc. You have to keep yourself updated. So thank you for emphasizing that once again. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Vedant, community outreach is actually a very common thread, right? So, how has this engage, basically helped you directly grow your practice or venture?
So, in towns like Shivpuri, your practice grows with the community. Many patients come in because their parents or grandparents trusted the same place. That kind of continuity only comes from being accessible and consistent and present for many years. By staying involved in local conversations, schools, and institutions, the practice becomes familiar rather than intimidating to many people. Because eye care is still seen it as a taboo, as I just said. So it's not just about providing care, it's about becoming visible, reliable part of people's life. When the community sees your commitment, the relationship becomes personal as well. And Drishti Kit grew out of the same engagement. While working closely with a community and a school, I had to go to a school for a vision screening camp. So we saw that how many people were missing basic eye screening simply due to access and awareness gaps. So instead of waiting for patient to come to us, we took screening to where people already were. So, schools, villages, community centers. And by embedding ourselves into these everyday spaces, we removed the barrier of distance, cost, and awareness. And when people see you showing up consistently and solving real problems, and the trust builds organically. And the trust translates into recommendations and participations and long-term impact. Over time, this particular approach, doesn't just improve individual eye health, it strengthens the culture of the preventive care. Families begin to prioritize vision health, school integrate regular screenings, and local health workers gain confidence in managing, eye care by more accessible way. By meeting the community where they are, we create a ripple effect. So, better health outcomes, more informed families, and a practice that is seen not just in a clinical, but being a part of the community. So, Shivpuri, maybe I don't like to say that just a community. I would like to say it's a very big family. So these things help me to focus on more things and developing new products as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that is so beautifully put. And, also a great example of how outreach and practice actually grow, they go hand in hand. So that's very nice. So, Jyoti, over to you. you've conducted a lot of eye camps across multiple states, right? So how has that outreach basically strengthened your practice, you would say, that especially in Shimla?
So basically, community outreach has been very foundational, I would say. Starting with school screenings, I am very located with a private school nearby my clinic. So very, I would say it was a good thing for me as well. So whenever I started the school screening, I had this approach in my mind that we'll screen out, but we'll not leave them behind. So my motive was that we have done a couple of, I guess, 5, 6 screenings till now on the school basically because now it's winter vacation here. So my motto was that whenever I do a screening, at the end of the screening, I would make all the teachers and the staff members to sit in the conference room and give them a presentation on the various, issues in the eyes related to the kids. They are, doing that. If they find that the child is not able to, see properly, they can normally do a visual acuity chart, visual acuity measurement themselves. And if they feel that it's not correct, they can refer to us or wherever they feel the near eye care practitioner can see. So, community outreach has actually helped me a lot because, like we say, like Vedant said rightly, it's not a community, it's like a family. So, yes, in Himachal, because, we have this thing that we are being recognized by a surname also. So, the surname goes through a very long, like a family thing. Okay. So, like, if I have gone, like, recently we conducted a camp in my local area, in my village. So, there the people were not interested who has come from where. They were like, okay, the surname, okay, this is known to me, like that. So, they have a trust like that also. So, it's very difficult to, make the trust as well as to make it stable. That, okay, they are trusting us. So, you have to keep that thing going on. So I would say this is how it has helped me a lot. And also because I was very fortunate because I've just not, in terms of camps, awareness talks, NGO foundation talks and all, but also because when I started my own practice, I made sure that I have to visit every practitioner in the state, in the city. So I have met ophthalmologists, I went to general physicians, pediatricians, and physiotherapists and speech therapists as well, because they are the people who understands your work better, obviously, and also because some of them, not all of them will refer. That is one of the thing. But yes, even if you get two refers from some, persons like them, so it makes your practice more ethical, learning based, and also because I cannot say that I have everything in my clinic. Obviously, if I have to do a glaucoma investigation, for sure I require an ophthalmologist approach. So yes, this is all go hand in hand. So community outreach, not just in terms of conducting eye camps, but also involving all the specialization or interdisciplinary approach is what I believe in.
Yeah. So again, so thank you actually for sharing that, because like from both of your experiences, it shows how this ripple effect has on your private practice. And also, like they usually say, your own practice or private practice grows more when you have this, interpersonal relationships and this cross, disciplinary relationships with multiple people, because there will be a lot of referrals and you also will know next what is a referral pathway and everything, so it helps your practice more. So, Vedant, going back to you. So, for young optometrists watching us here, so what is your top piece of advice for them, for building trust and a patient base from a scratch, especially if they're starting in a new community?
You know, for any young optometrist, I would say you have to think from a in a long term perspective from the very beginning. Don't rush patients, don't overpromise, and never cut corners. Because shortcuts may save minutes today, but you lost your credibility for tomorrow. Take time to explain, especially to the first time patient who may already feel unsure and intimidated by the clinical settings. Clarity builds comfort, and comfort builds trust. Every interaction, no matter how small, sends a message about the quality and value of your practice. Even gestures such small as remembering a patient name, following up on previous concerns, or showing patient कि यार हम तुम्हारी we genuinely care. कि यार अगर कोई patient आ रहा है, whether irrespective कि वो कोई चश्मे का काम करवाने आ रहा है या कोई और चीज के लिए आ रहा है, we would definitely take a spectacle, we'd clean them. It's just the part where they would feel like a family. In close knit communities, trust travel faster than any form of marketing. Conversations happen at homes, shops, and schools, and every single honest experience can influence the entire network of families. And when patients feel listened and respected and genuinely cared ना, they don't just return for follow-ups, they become your quiet ambassadors. कि जैसे मैं भी बोलता हूँ कि यार when I make a very good spectacles, I don't tell them कि यार you're just a customer, यार आप तो हमारे brand ambassador हो. So these quite over time, this word of mouth credibility compounds, creating a foundation that is, far more stronger and more sustainable than aggressive promotional or rapid expansion. Moreover, cultivating long-term relationships allows you to, anticipate needs before they become urgent, creating opportunities for preventive care, early intervention. It also fosters a sense of shared responsibility, I would say. Patient becomes partner in their own health journey, more willing to follow advice, adopt lifestyle changes, and participate in community health initiatives. Ultimately, investing in trust and consistency doesn't just build a successful practice, it builds a legacy of care that can impact generation to generation. Like we have a lot of patient. I know there are certain limitation to my practice, like as in retail practice, I could only do certain things, but there is nothing stopping me to help them identify that यार नहीं यार तुम्हें विजन एकदम से सडन लॉस हुआ है, तुम एक बार अफथल के पास चले जाओ, मैं फोन कर देता हूँ अफथल को, भाई तुम प्लीज चले जाओ. So this is how, being very fair and honest to the patient helps us to make a proper authentic practice which lasts longer than any other major practices out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Vedant. That was actually a very practical, and a heartfelt advice. So I think just to, highlight something that we've all learned during our UG days that they usually tell us that he or she may be the 10th or 15th patient for you, but for them, you are the first optometrist. So if you
Exactly.
remember that always, it is very, and compounding is the key word that you said. I think everybody should remember. Yes. So going back to you, Jyoti, for someone, wanting to start a specialized practice in a non-metro area, what piece of advice would you give them? So about turning their passion into a sustainable practice.
Okay, so I would say that for me, like when I started, so for me also it was something very new. I didn't had a fellow optometrist around me who could, help me or support me that how to run. Obviously, I had friends who were practicing outside in the metro areas, so they were like, it's very difficult for you to start something like this in Shimla. But I would say specialization should not be limited by the location. And like Vedant said, first of all, you have to grow that trust rather than building that volume. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that is very much, true in our profession. Like, because, a patient may come to you within first 3 days, you have a bulk. But what about that satisfaction that you're not having it even after seeing 15, 20 patients in a day? So, like in the hospital, so we had a multiple counters that you are doing this, the other person is doing that, and then the patient is going, finally seeing everything and then going home. But here you are sitting alone. You have to do everything from the starting, from the end. So I would say you opt for a specialization, whether you do a contact lens specialization and an orthoptic, or maybe a neuro thing or whatever. But do not make make yourself limited. Okay, one thing is that. The other is, I would say to the other budding optometrists one thing that you have done your bachelor's will not make you sufficient to run anything. That is very important. What I feel from my own self. The thing is that you need to keep yourself in the learning process. The other is, please ask for the help. Asking help is not bad. You ask your senior optometrist or you ask your ophthalmologist. I'm very much sure if you ask for a help, you ask for a solution or this thing, they will never hesitate. But if you feel yourself to be like, okay, I know this, you don't know anything. I know how to treat amblyopia, you don't know anything. Then it becomes
Yes.
very, very messy. It doesn't work like that. So you have to understand that yes, this is something that we've been working together, as that's why we've been it's like an O. So it can be an optometrist, an ophthalmologist, an optician, nothing like that. I personally feel today also I need to ask an optician for please telling me how to make a progressive. Why is my patient not comfortable with progressive? Because I don't know that. And I don't hesitate. I do not hesitate to ask an ophthalmologist whether what approach have you started with the glaucoma. So that goes hand in hand. So for all the budding optometrists, one thing is that specialization should not be limited by the location. You can start anywhere. Start small, be patient, be focused, and just wait for the outcome. Your work will really say for yourself.
Beautiful put.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
so beautifully put. Yes. So, from what you said, it basically shows like passion and the ability to, ask for help and learn is the true foundation for, sustainable practices. So, I'm done with my questions. So, if you have any closing remarks, both of you, Vedant and Jyoti, you can please go ahead. Then I'll show your, practice videos.
You know, at last, I would like to say that being an optometrist for me is something to be proud of, and each and every optometrist should be proud of. It's almost like a superpower that you have the ability to make someone see the world more clearly and beautifully, and we should respect it, and we should work to continuously care and evolve as we move forward. As Jyoti also said that yes, learning is very important, and never be hesitate to ask questions. यार जब तक पूछोगे नहीं तुम्हें कुछ नहीं पता चलेगा. That's all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jyoti, from your side, any closing remarks?
I would just say this thing, keep on learning and keep on having all queries in the mind that, what is this and why not? We are in the world of AI. Everything cannot be done with AI, but yes, taking help from AI is valuable somewhere. But at the other hand, experienced minds and experienced hands are more valuable than AI. So I would say it should be like that only. And that's it. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti and Vedant, for being so candid. So, just one of my last questions to both of you. How do you perceive, or what is your perspective of OCI, as an organization? How do you think we can help you as private practitioners?
So yes, OCI is a benchmark for us. From the first year itself, we knew OCI is an organization. It touches my heart every time we see their work. It's not just OCI doesn't only just focus on taking optometry practice ahead. It also works on different aspects for taking vision care ahead, as we are also trying to work. So I think OCI is doing an absolutely phenomenal job in taking the whole optometry forward in the country. And I would like to extend my thanks from all the optometrists and all the family out there. It feels very good knowing that we have the support from such an good organizations in our country who is continuously available to help us. Even if we have to ask anything, even any dumb questions, we can ask to you without any resentment. The only reason we could be more candid is because we were so comfortable from the day one we interacted with you. Like it never felt that I'm talking to any someone outside my field of expertise or something. Like, how would I say? But it was actually phenomenal. It is such a beautiful initiative, the Unsung Heroes as well. I'm really glad I could be a part of it. Thank you so much, Shweta.
Thank you, Vedant. Jyoti?
Okay, so I would say that OCI has given us an identity, I would say, being recognized as an optometrist and what all OCI does for us. The other thing that I had, because I have recently started my own practice in state, and in Himachal, as such, we do not have an optometric association as built up. But some members have started to work on this, and I'm also a part of it. So I would definitely would require help, basically from OCI in the future for having those regulations and things going on, like we are seeing in the other state in Himachal as well. Because here I feel one more thing that I wanted to add was optometrists, like the budding ones, are hesitant for one more thing of opening an eye clinic in a state like us. One of the thing is that because we do not have an association here in Himachal, maybe they have an association, but it's not recognized as such. I'm not the part of it, so I don't think that it's there as such. The other is that having challenges met because of having what kind of approach you need to start with opening your own, clinical practice is very difficult if you do not have a recognized counsel with you. So I would only feel that if we talk about optometry, OCI, so definitely it has given us an identity, and that's really very thankful to our all the respected seniors who have given us this platform to make ourselves recognizable. So surely OCI has given us a lot. So thank you so much for doing that much for us.
Thank you, Jyoti, and thank you, Vedant. So yes, I think your videos are ready now. So I'll just share the videos for the audience to watch. So first, I'm going to share Vedant's. Just a second. Thank you for sharing a side of your practice, Vedant. So let's see Jyoti's practice now. Yeah, so thank you both, for such insightful and heartfelt conversations today. And your journeys remind us, that passion, innovation, and community connection, along with meaningful eye care, can reach every corner of India. So before we sign off, one second. Yeah. So before we sign off, I'd like to acknowledge our media partner, Optician India Magazine, who will be, supporting our unsung heroes by providing them with Prodigy sunwear and 1 year subscription of their magazines.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So to all the audience who joined us in the live streaming, thank you so much for joining, and stay tuned for more inspiring stories from the unsung heroes. So take care and keep making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.